hear how this model turned CEO and is now motivating people all over the world. Kim Mellor is up next.
Hey, Kim, welcome to the call. How are you?
I am amazing. Thanks so much for having me.
There we go. So, just to give a little bit of context to the listener, for the listeners, share with us who you are. Tell us your story and your journey. Where you started life and came up, and some of the struggles and challenges, and how you ended up where you are now.
Where do we start?
not
um,
not from birth.
Not from birth. Okay, cool. But you know what? I think there's lots of lessons to be learned from someone's story. So, for sure, so I lived my life in Stoke-on-Trent, a small town in the UK, brought up by very working class parents who just wanted the best for me. And I was just a little bit like lost in life. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. And so I wasn't one of these people that were like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a surgeon.
Hmm.
I just kind of wanted to be free and have choices and travel and all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of, I've always followed doing things that I love. So I went to school, college, and then I was at this crossroads where I was like, do I go to university or do I not?
Hmm.
And I kind of conformed to the society of, go to university and get your degree. So I thought, right, I love sports. I've been a swimmer all my life, swam 7 days a week since I can remember. I'll do sports and exercise science.
Hmm.
And of course, whenever you do a degree, it's nothing to do with sport. It was all to do with the theory of sport. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So what do I do with this then? I've graduated. What do I do? And so I kind of fell into the whole modeling world when I was about 13, 14.
Hmm.
And I'd been doing a few shoots here and there. And I was very, very shy though. So I'd never kind of tell anyone that that's what I did. And so when I left university, I was like, right, Kim, you can either get a job as a teacher and be a school teacher, which is not something I wanted to do. I completely respect teachers. I'm so grateful that they bring up our children and they teach them what they teach them. But I just wanted to follow the fun, basically. So
Yeah.
I then just started to do modeling full time. So I was traveling up and down the country. I've traveled all around the world, working for the likes of Speedo and lots of amazing companies. But then I was also doing jobs just to kind of make ends meet.
Yeah.
So I'd be doing promotional jobs dressed as a pumpkin, or I'd be at the train station, like giving out leaflets for like bunion supports or whatever it might have been.
Huh?
So it was so much fun in my 20s. I loved it, because I was traveling and I was like never in the same place. And then I got to about 28 years old and I was like, okay, what's going to happen in the future? Because I was living this very superficial life where I was living in a world of going out on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then
Hmm.
going back to work on Monday. And I was caught up in this world of like very superficial people, um, just a superficial life. And it had no real depth to it. And
Hmm.
so I really started to crave that depth of my soul. And there was something that was calling me to really fulfill my potential.
Perfect. And so once that really started happening, because you could see the writing on the wall, you knew a transition had to happen because you weren't happy with what you were doing. So what happened then? What did you do?
So yeah, I mean, I started to realize that being self-employed is great, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be because if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And so I knew that my income was dependent on what I looked like. And as you get older, you get more wrinklier. And I was like, how is that going to look in 60 years' time? So I started to think, well, if I'm always trading my time for money, I need to find a way to make money while I sleep. I need to find a way to create a passive income stream. But I didn't have any business background. I didn't have any kind of business ideas. And so I was just kind of praying and hoping for a solution.
Hmm.
So that's when my friend called me one day and he just said, listen, I've got this business. I want you to take a look at it. And to be honest, it was something that I never thought I would ever do, something that I was not looking for, something I knew nothing about. But actually, it was everything I was looking for because I was looking for freedom, time, travel, money, fun, and the ability to be able to give back. And I think deep down, we're all wanting to give back in some way, shape, or form, but we just don't know how or what that is. And so that's why I do what I do now, because I love to live my life while helping people and also impact others' lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what are some of the biggest changes that happened, personally for you? Because it's easy to get caught up in the world, right? Modeling and living that life of going out, partying, and then just figuring out how to make ends meet Monday through Friday till the next weekend of going out and partying. And so there was for this change to happen, externally and in your surroundings and your environment, what changed on the inside that really made it come to pass? Because wanting to be fulfilled and being able to give back versus doing what it takes to become fulfilled and actually giving back are two different things. Because one is just one is just like a sitting there wanting an idea and a figment of your imagination, and one requires action.
For sure. 100%. And the biggest thing that's got me from where I was to where I am now is personal development. So like you've just said, Jeff, in order for things to change, you have to change. And that quote is so true. I've never read any, obviously I've read books, but I didn't read books, for fun. I used to watch television and go out. And so it wasn't part of my daily routine to read books and educate myself, because there's no one that was around me that was doing that. And obviously we become a part of the environment that we are in. So I realized that in order for me to live that life, I had to grow and change myself. So public speaking was one of my biggest fears. Having to stand up in a room of people and be able to speak, it gave me the fear of dread for like weeks before I had to speak. But I knew that was something that if I overcome that, I would just start stepping into the greatest version of myself and really standing in my power. And it's funny now because I absolutely love public speaking. I still get the same feelings of like, oh my God, can I do this? But I know it's my calling to inspire people, and that overcoming that has really helped me become the person I am today. But also the transformation on the inside is one of the most amazing things that's happened in what I do, because I have grown both physically, not outwardly physically, but I've grown.
I was like, that can be taken in so many different ways. It's like she was a model and she quit and she just completely let herself go, but she's a positive thinker.
I love that. Yeah, so I've definitely grown spiritually, which I think is very, very important. I've grown emotionally and just educating myself on the real business world, and how to help people is by helping yourself first, right? So that's why I'm a massive fan of always going first and being the best person within your team or in your life, because then you can coach people how to get to where you are.
Absolutely. And, you really touched on personal development as being one of the biggest, contributors to your life change. And so I was on some other calls, and we use personal development, we use the term air quotes personal development, and in such a general sense, but personal development is really just one piece of a transformation, really. And so I think it's sometimes that's some of the reasons why I kind of just dive a little more into that part of it, because what else helped with the entire transformation? Because personal development is irrelevant to the person if the rest of their mind isn't ready for it. Because you can listen to John Maxwell, you can listen to all these inspirational and motivational speakers, you can learn about leadership, and you can have the personal development side, but until you address the internal issues that have brought about the cycles of negativity or whatever things that you wanted to change, because we've been socially conditioned to accept things. And so the personal development will help train, your mind on how to think about things and how to, gain perspective and how to grow. But I think there's still a part of it that needs to address your past and being like, hey, what were the routines that I was making? And it happens different for everybody, because there was a transformation that happened because you were living the superficial life, right? You were doing the modeling, you were doing this, and you were in that lifestyle. And then you went through a transformation where you kind of realized like, hey, I don't need this type of fake admiration based off of just how I physically look.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I need that? Like, I don't like it. I'm realizing that that's not the type of attention that I want to attract to myself. I want the attention to be attracted because of who is inside of me that is being shown outside.
Yes.
More like being
Absolutely.
kind of getting the attention more so being for who you are, not of what you are.
Yes, absolutely. And do you know what? I used to get really frustrated sometimes when I'd go out. Maybe I'd go to like a wedding or something and I'd be in a group of people and these go, oh my God, you're so gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're amazing. And, I used to get a lot of compliments and it almost had the adverse effect on me because I was almost like, well, is that all that you see?
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to think, why is this upsetting me? And it was because people weren't taking time to get to know me, but maybe I wasn't showing myself fully to people. So it's really funny now because if anyone compliments me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever that is, it's great, but I don't use that as fuel. It doesn't give me like an ego boost anymore.
Yeah.
I prefer people to go, oh my God, that's such an inspirational post. That's really hit me. Thank you for being so vulnerable and honest about your journey. So yeah, completely right. It's a different level now. I love to connect with people. And the only way to connect with them is to say, do you know what? I've been where you've been. I'm okay with not being perfect. I'm not going to take 20 selfies to get the right selfie for my headshot. I'm just going to be who I am. Like me or leave me, and that's it.
No, I love it. And, I think, and that's such an interesting thing for me is because people are, well, it's not interesting. I know exactly why it happens because they get so caught up with fake. And, so when somebody allows themselves to be vulnerable and authentic and to show empathy, it's almost like, whoa, it's like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. You just are so caught up in what Hollywood's trying to tell you to do or social media. Like, you realize half the stuff that is posted on social media is fake. Like, their life isn't that good. They jumped to the fence to go take the picture by that private jet. They took a loan out. They took a loan out to, take the picture with all of that baller money, quote unquote, and then they went and returned it or they borrowed it from their parents, and they rented that Lamborghini to take the video for their, promotion for their big marketing company that's doing so good. And, it's like, just like, see it for what it is. Like, and so many people get caught up in that thing like, oh, that's the, and it's like, no, that's not. If it's materialistic and that's all that's grabbing your attention, then there's something very wrong with what you're looking at.
But you know what, though? I believe that we are all responsible for our next generation that are growing up on social media. Like, I wasn't on social media. I was out playing, getting muddy, and oh my gosh, I can't even bear to think of how self-confident I would have been if I'd have grown up around all this Instagram fame and all these filters and things. So I really see it as my responsibility to show up and be real and be honest. And that's one of my main missions. Because do you know what? There's never been so much suicide. It's in the UK, there's 16 people that commit suicide every single day. 75% of those are men. And it's because I believe they just can't match what's happening on social media. Like, they look at other people's lives and go, oh my God, my life's not like that. It's all the social pressures that they're put under. I just
Mm-hmm.
think it's really, really sad. And I think we definitely all have played our part in that. And I think we can all join forces together and just be more real. Use social media as a platform to spread a good message of being real instead of this fake lifestyle
No,
rubbish.
that yeah, no, that's exactly right. And because people get so caught up, and a lot of it is, consumption. It's what are we teaching the next generation to do? Because it's really not so much do what I say, it's a do what I do. You know,
Yeah,
and so we need to show them, be like, hey, yes, technology is not going anywhere. This internet thing that was supposed to be a fad is not going anywhere. It is officially part of, society and, our lives. So use it because the internet is neutral. It's
yeah,
not good, it's not bad. So what are you doing with it? And so many people use it to kind of distract themselves from what they don't want to deal with in their own lives. And they use it as a
yeah,
distraction, and it's like, no, it's not a distraction, it's a tool. Use
yeah,
it to better your life. What is your consumption? What are you taking in? Because whatever you're looking at on Instagram, whatever's in your feed on Facebook, like that's affecting your mind, whether you believe it or not.
sure.
Like it is affecting your mind. So you have to put a filter on that and take inventory of it. Like what are you reading on there? What are you listening to in your car? Are you listening to positive stuff? Or are you listening to negative stuff? I don't mean you need to be all like have Tony Robbins blasting in your ear 24/7. You would be an amazing person if you did, but you don't have to do that. You need to be self-aware about it. Because I think
Yeah,
consumption is so important in the outcome of a person's reality.
for sure. And I think another big thing in the transformation of becoming the person, because I'm very, very passionate about who are you becoming, like who is the person that you are stepping into to live
Mm-hmm.
the life that you want to live. And that's the best thing about having a business like I have is you can only get to a next level and a next income level by becoming the person who is deserving of that. And so being in an environment with people who make you level up is so important. Being in a community of people who really want to know who you are, like
Mm-hmm.
they don't care about what you look like, and that's what I love about the company that I'm with, because you can only physically get recognized if you are doing a good job at what you're doing, not what you look like.
Yep.
So I'm constantly reinforced with who am I becoming? And am I becoming a better leader? Like am I helping to grow my team? Like how am I inspiring people from what I'm learning? And that's a really good accountability for me, is the people that I'm constantly surrounded by. So as they say, you are the five people that you hang around with. It's a fact.
Yep.
So if you're always on social media, make sure that they're positive, people that make you level up and are being real.
Yeah, and find some people that you can follow or whatever that you will that you can just look into their message, look at what they're about, look at their feed, look at what they're posting, and be like, hey, is this somebody that I can relate to? Is this somebody that I kind of want to look up to in a sense, and take some advice from, because it's free information for you to be able to better your life. If somebody can't find positive in today's world, because it's so easy. Before, there wasn't so much technology, there wasn't information everywhere. Information was kept in a box, and so for you to find positivity, you had to go out and find the CDs and the books, and find the right stuff to read, and it wasn't so out there. Now it's in the palm of your hand for free everywhere. You can download a podcast and listen to it for free. You can read, do an audiobook and listen to it while you're in the car, while you're running. And, your Instagram. There are so many positive, influencers out there, and everybody's just looking at, the person that has the most follow. Oh, this person has 200,000 followers and look at all their fancy clothes. Nothing against fashion influencers. They found what they're good at. But everybody that just idolizes that and can't, it's like, what are you focusing on? you know, and especially your association. I'm glad you brought that up because you absolutely are who you associate with, you know, and I've told this to people in the past. It's like, if you show me the 5 people that you hang around with the most, I can tell you the kind of person that you're going to be.
Yeah. And there's a quote that I love that says, tell me your past 5 conversations and I'll tell you your future.
Yeah. And it's so true. And people don't realize the importance of association. And it's just so crazy that they just let so much fake and so much hypocrisy, you know, enter into their lives, and they don't really think anything about it. And sometimes people don't understand that they need to put a boundary up, you know, because it could be the people that are holding you back could very well be your friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And in our minds, we don't want to admit that because our friends and family are supposed to love us and, you know, only want what's best for us. But they can only want and know what's best for you and help you get there if they've been able to achieve that themselves. So if they're not living the life that you want to be living, and if they're not happy, you know, then why are you listening to them? It's not easy to do, but you need to take inventory of who you're listening to.
Yeah, and don't take advice from someone who is less than you.
I mean,
or in a less position than you. Yeah.
It's so true because people just let friends and family just influence their lives. It's kind of like, do they have what you want? Are they living the life that you want? Well, no. Then why are you listening to them? It'd be like trying to ask a broke person how to make $1 million.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? Like, what's next? You're going to go to school to learn how to run a business? Good luck. You can learn how to teach how to run a business because they're not running a business. They're teachers. They can teach you how to teach.
Exactly. Know? And, you know, and when I speak to someone about my business, you know, they say, right, I'm just going to go home and, you know, speak to my partner and my mum about it. And I'm like, no. They've not just heard what you've heard. You know, and I think, yeah, people do ask people's advice who are their friends and family that aren't where they want to be. And so it's all about owning your decisions as well. And this is one thing that I've really, really had to get my head around is, who is Kim Mellor?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Kim Mellor? Kim Mellor is not what she looks like. She's not a model. She's not this, she's not that. Like, what is my brand? And my brand is what people say about me when I've left the room. And I think it's great having all these influencers and all these incredible people on social media, but there's so much noise. I don't think people actually sit down with a notepad and pen for an hour, half an hour a week, and just sit and think, who am I? What is my message? You know, because everything that's needed to be said in the world has already been said. There's no original content anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the original thing is you know, who are you? Yeah. You know, I am not my company. I am Kim Mellor. I am my brand. And so it's really knowing and owning your truth. So when other people are saying, oh, I don't think you should do that, you can go, do you know what? This is what I'm doing because this is what I believe in. And it's owning your truth.
That's so true. And I love the way that you said that, you know, you are your brand. And it's so true. It's like, whatever legacy that you want to be leaving for your children, for the world, whatever it is, like, it's you. You know, it's a lot of times people, because we get so caught up with like what people do. Everybody's doing stuff. So many people are accomplishing so many great things. So if you want to be remembered for like one thing that you did, good luck. People are going to forget about it unless you're like an Albert Einstein or something like that. And then in that case, you know what I mean? Unless you're like a genius.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's going to remember you for that one thing that you did. Be like, oh, wow, they went base jumping one time. Okay, great. So did the 50 people that were standing in line behind them. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, she had really good fashion. Okay. So what? So do 1,000 other people, you know, standing right next to her. And so it's like, really, who are you? And I'm glad that you brought it up. It's like, who were you? Because you were in that spotlight. You were in the pictures, you were in the videos, you were the model. That was your life. It was your job. And it's you were in it, and you realize there is so much more to life than what's just being presented on the outside. It's all about who you are on the inside. Because if you're the right person on the inside, it'll show on the outside. You know? And it's
Yeah. And I think, even if someone has a job and they work for a corporation, it's like they work within someone else's values.
mm-hmm.
And so most people get to like 45, 50 and go, oh, half of my life is gone and I've been living it for someone else. So I think people are starting to wake up a lot more. There's definitely a rise in entrepreneurship. A lot of people are looking for a side hustle. People really want to build something for themselves because I think people are valuing their freedom a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
Which is great to see. And, the more people like you, Jeff, that can spread, this amazing message through podcasts, I think is a great thing.
Yeah, and you brought up a couple good points there. It's people are working their jobs and and they work there for 20, 30 years, and then they come to this aha moment where they realize they're not happy, and it's like, well, did you take inventory of yourself? Did you take inventory of where you were working? It's like, yeah, but this is the job I had for 30 years. Okay, so you're comfortable. What does that have to do with what you're saying? Success is outside of your comfort zone. We hear it all the time, but nobody makes the conscious decision to act on it. And I think a lot of people need to understand that with technology now, there are so many ways to win. It's not sitting there with, having to look through the newspaper to make sure you qualify for a job and then go sit waiting for a job interview with 50 other people. It's the internet has opened up so many things. So if you're not winning now, like ask yourself, what are you doing? Like, you're the reason you're not happy. No, it's because of where I work, where you're the one making the choice to work there.
Yes.
It's when, like, if you just, you almost have to flip the switch where everything is on you. Everything.
Yes.
No matter what it is. Oh, I got in a car accident. It was the other person's fault. Well, it's on you because you're the one letting it affect you.
Yes. And do you know what? That's one of my top philosophies in life is I take 100% responsibility for my life. And if you have that mindset, nothing will ever bother you. You won't need anything from anyone. You won't let anyone take anything from you because you're 100% responsible. I've made some really silly decisions in my life with money.
Mm-hmm.
I've, definitely made some really bad investments. And yeah, I was angry for a good few months at this other person. And then through the development, I realized that, no, Kim, this was your fault. You let this happen. And the only person that you hurt in holding on to that resentment is yourself.
Yep.
And so you have to forgive and you have to go, do you know what? There's two sides to every situation. And I played a part in that. And as soon as you can do that, you're free. You're free of any judgment, any resentment, because that is, I think, a massive heavy energy that keeps people stuck is, oh, they did this to me and, oh, I wasn't brought up in the right environment. We all chose our environment, subconsciously when we entered this world, we chose our parents for a reason, for us to grow. So it's having the mindset of, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And I actually love adversity. Like, if ever I feel comfortable, I'm like, right, something needs to change. Quick, let's get uncomfortable. I'm not where I want to be. I want to level up. I want to be up there with the greatest inspirations in the world. And I know I need to be stepping up my game with the people I'm around, the comfort zones I'm smashing. And so I always need to feel really uncomfortable in order to grow.
I mean, yeah, it's so true. And it's just, pointing fingers, like, stop. And it goes back to that, that thing that our parents used to say is like, hey, you're pointing one at them, but you got three more pointing back at you, when you're pointing a finger. And it's like, there's so much wisdom in that phrase where we just thought it of to be like a stupid joke or something like that, where it's like, oh, ha ha ha. But it's like, no, really, like, sure, maybe they had like a small part in what happened to it, but the majority of that result is on you. Even if it was directly your fault or not, because some things we have no control over, but we are 100% in control of how we let it affect us.
Yes.
100%. And and I love the way that you are approaching it, where it's like, oh wait, no, I'm getting comfortable. Nope. What do I need to do? I need to go. I need to go jump off a cliff or jump out of a plane without a parachute or something, because this is not. No, you just you're forcing yourself.
Yeah, because I'm like 35 years old. If I'm comfortable now, I'm going to be uncomfortable when I'm older. So I want to be uncomfortable now while I'm healthy and full of life and ambition and drive. And I plan on living to 140. Just going to put it out there, with modern technology, 140 years old. So 100 years old, I'm going to be passionate about what I do. I know I am, because living life with purpose and passion is why you live so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's proven that people with a purpose live long. So I'll never retire, but I want to be comfortable when I am older. So you have to be uncomfortable now. So just to all your listeners, if you feel comfortable in life, that's great. But are you helping enough people? Are you getting outside your comfort zone and growing? Because when you do that, you'll inspire more people, and that's ultimately, fulfill life.
It's so true, and we'll kind of bring it back, because you brought up another good topic earlier about entrepreneurship, and it is a lot more common now. But on the flip side of that, it's almost becoming a fad, where it's like, it's the cool thing to be an entrepreneur. And it's like, well, yeah, it can be fun, but do you have what it takes? It's not easy. Like it takes work, because so many people like, hey, I made a sticker, or I printed a hat. I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, I don't think you understand what this game entails.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, you're not working for a paycheck. Like, if somebody doesn't buy your stuff, you suck. You got to figure out, like, what's your marketing, what's your brand, like, does your product suck?
Yeah, and I think a true entrepreneur for me is all about the obstacles that they've overcome and not let them be defeated by. Because in what I do, a lot of people are first employees, and then now they start this business. And one of the biggest shifts people have to make is being willing to not get paid straight away. Being an employee or being self-employed is a very linear income. You're always trading time for money. So people work an hour, they get paid an hour. They're used to that $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month paycheck, and that's a lot. But when you become an entrepreneur, it's all about 80% mindset of working, reading, learning, failing, getting up again. Every overnight success takes about 10 years. So one of my biggest frustrations is when people just quit before payday. And I'm just like, do you know that you're going to have the most incredible life without limits? But the universe is giving you this test first. It's testing you to see how bad you want this. How many obstacles can you overcome? Because in order for you to be an entrepreneur and earn 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds a month and plus, your mindset has to be different. And so you have to grow through it. You can't just be given it. And so I always say to people, imagine you started university. You don't say, yes, I've graduated university after the first day. Like, you have to go to class, you have to study, you have to take exams. And at the end of 5 years, you've got your degree. It's the same with any business. So any advice for entrepreneurs out there, if you are making the shift from employee to entrepreneur, just like really, really work on your mindset and become an entrepreneur, become a business owner. How many failed businesses has Richard Branson had, and he's still a billionaire?
Yes. And I know it's so true. And the funny thing is, because if you're going into a specialized field, you're going to be a doctor or a therapist or psychiatrist or surgeon or whatever it is. Yes, go to school. But if you don't know what you want to be yet, why are you going to spend $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a year to go get a degree and get a piece of paper that you're more than likely never going to use?
Exactly. And the thing with this economy as well, Jeff, is, people are graduating from university into a jobless economy. Like by 2030, 120 million jobs will be gone in the UK and USA because of technology.
Yeah.
So you've just got to look at the way the world's going. I go into my bank and I see 10 machines and one person. You try and call someone like your insurance company or something, and you have 20 different automated messages, and you just go, oh, got to give up. You know, the world is becoming electronic. It's the digital age. It's not the industrial revolution anymore. We're in the digital revolution. And so if you're not online, that's where you need to be. That's where you're going to make the money. You know, in the UK, you've got Debenhams going into administration, banks closing down, schools closing down because technology's taking over the jobs of people. You know, so I'm just a massive advocate of, you know, start before you're ready. Like, start building something online now before you actually need it. Because my gosh, like, can you even cope that Facebook's only been here for like 11, 12 years? And can you imagine what's going to happen in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years? It's crazy.
It's insane, yeah. I mean, just like, and here's the thing. Look at what one website, right? What did one website do to so many of the, you know, air quote, big dogs in business? Toys R Us, what happened to them? They shut down. What happened to Circuit City? They shut down. You know, just for clothing. Look what's happening to Charlotte Russe. Bankruptcy. They're just shutting down. One website, like Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you cannot argue the fact. They own it. If you think about buying anything, you bet your butt like, whoa, let me check Amazon.
Yeah, well, it's the same with, you know, Uber is one of the biggest car companies that doesn't own any taxis.
Yeah, Airbnb.
VRBO.
Lyft. I mean, that's what it is. It's like these companies are huge and they own zero inventory.
Yeah.
You know, they have employees, they have offices, they have satellite offices and things of that sort. Yes, they have a business to run, but they don't own any of the cars. You know, for what? They're given the opportunity to help other people. You know, they're letting other people take control of their lives. Or it's like, hey, you want to make some extra money? Boom. All right. Turn your app on and let's go. Go drive. You know, you have extra rooms in your house. You have an extra house. Hey, rent it out. You might as well. You know, and it's disrupting an industry that was there, but that industry got comfortable. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just the same with anything else. Like, people are so comfortable at their jobs, but then they're complaining about their lives. And it's like, well, then if you're that miserable at your job, then find something else that you're happy about. Because if not, like you said, you know, when you're 60, 70, 80 years old and you're looking back on your life, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself for not taking that chance. Just take just take the chance. What? Oh, you're going to fail and you're not going to be happy? What does it matter? You're not happy now anyway. But what if it works?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And regret is something that I just never ever want to have.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And you know, and I heard it from Gary Vee. He said it the best way. He was talking to the Alabama football team. You know, and because they're the top, and so in Hawaii, obviously, or not in Hawaii. I'm from Hawaii, but in the U.S., you know, American football is a big thing, and so he was talking to the Alabama University, talking to their football team, and he was like, you guys, he straight up told him, he was like, 98% of you are never going to make it to the NFL. And then the 2% of you that do make it, 80% of you are only going to be there for 3 years tops. So what are you guys doing now? Because you think you're at the top of your game now. You're not even 25 yet. You're not at the top of your game. You haven't even started life. And what are you doing now to make sure that you're not regretting life in the future because your life ended at 22 once you stopped playing football for the university? And he challenged all of them. He's like, all of you guys need to go to a retirement home right now, because once you see regret, your whole thought process changes. You know, go to a retirement home and you're going to see regret on a lot of people's faces. You know, because they're going to be like, man, I wish I did that. I should have done that. And it's like, go see it, because once you see it, that's when then a real light's going to go off, and it's going to be, I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to be that. Because you can go to retirement homes and see people that are, like you said, so Richard Branson's age. He's out there windsurfing, skydiving, you know, cliff jumping.
Going to space.
Yeah. He's like, I want to go to space. All right, I'm going to build a spaceship to take people to space in. Hey, sure, why not? You know? And it's just like, there are people that are retired in retirement homes that are just regretting and hating life that are the same age as him, but what's the difference? It's all starting with what's going on between their ears.
Yeah. And do you know what? There's never been a better time to become an entrepreneur and take a chance because there's actually no risks in doing that. You know,
Yeah.
and I think there's so much out there now for people to plug into. I just think it's a necessity to have a side hustle and to have that extra income coming in because there's no such thing as a safe, secure job for life anymore.
Nope.
You know, even if you're an entrepreneur, I believe you need to have multiples of income coming in.
Yeah, you want to have
You know,
multiple streams of income, and one thing as an entrepreneur, and you always you have to be changing. You have to be able to evolve. You have to be able to adapt. I mean, that's in life, period, because the world is always changing. So we need to be ready to change with it. If you can get ahead of it, then you can capitalize on that and clean up. That's why people like all the people that made money with Facebook. What is this internet thing? It's not going to be big. Well, tell that to Bill Gates. you know.
exactly.
And that's the truth. What's
Exactly.
this internet thing? It's a fad. Really? Interesting. Because why are all
Crazy.
some of the richest people in the world internet people?
Yeah, and you know what? I believe that while we've all still got air in our lungs, we've all got potential within us. Like, how dare we not fulfill our truest potential? You know, you see Bill Gates and Richard Branson, and they're the guys with the biggest bank accounts, but with the biggest hearts and the deepest pockets.
They
You know,
are.
they're the people that are really making an impact. So I see my purpose as really empowering and inspiring women to live a life without limits. Because when you make women million leaders and you create leaders,
Mm-hmm.
then you can really make a change in the world. You know, when people have got an abundance of time and money and freedom, that's when they can have the time to go and set up an orphanage. They can go and work with the animals, you know, but because people are so conditioned to have this job and like, you know, get the life sucked out of them and like very, very low vibe, then
Yep.
they're just stuck in that rut. You
Yep.
know, so I really believe entrepreneurship is the way that we're going to save the world and really make an impact on the planet.
Absolutely. It and just kind of the way that you said it, like if you want to be able to make an impact and you want to be able to help people, you can't do that if you're broke.
No.
You can't. I mean, you can be positive and great. You can help a few people, but you can do it at scale if you got money in the bank account and you're not worried about trying to find an investor to help you make that difference. Because then once you take on an investor, now it's all about a bottom line and how much money are you making that
Mm.
investor versus if you just had, an extra, even an extra $1,000 a month can make such a big difference if you're trying to help people, you know?
Exactly.
And it's just like if you're whatever your heart is, because money is neutral too, right? It's like the internet. It's neutral. It's not good or it's bad. It's going to do whatever you tell it to do, just like your internet search
Yeah.
history. It's only doing what you're telling it to do.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
yeah. And so what are some of the biggest things that you've seen happen that have really been impactful in helping people kind of get out of that, kind of getting out of that hole, because you see the transition, from when they're
Mm.
being stuck and miserable out of a job to being able to break out of that and live a happy, thriving, impactful life. What are some of the biggest, you know, changes? Obviously their mindset changes, but what are some of the big aha moments? Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, sure. So in the business that I have, so I have a network marketing business,
Mm-hmm.
and so a lot of the people tend to come from, you know, corporate jobs or they're teachers and they want to create an extra income. And so they have to make that entrepreneurial shift from that linear income to then the entrepreneur mindset. So the biggest shifts I see people have are actually in self-belief. So you can recommend someone read a book and listen to an audio, but maybe after like 4 or 5 months, you actually see them embody it because they maybe start speaking in front of a room of people and they go, oh my God, I never thought I could do that. Oh my gosh, now I'm doing it. Or they, you know, might be at an event and they're now really confident at speaking to people because now they start to understand who they are and the value that they have. And so I think when people go from that knowledge to actually embodying what they're learning by becoming the person,
Mm-hmm.
by being in situations that make them uncomfortable and thinking, oh my God, I never thought I would ever do that, that brings me absolute joy. You know, for example, I had an event with a new consultant who was launching her business, and she stood up in the front of the room and she said that this business is changing her life. And she was like 55 years old. And she said that she's never been a part of a community of people who really want to empower and support her. It's always very kind of backstabby and very gossipy. And if you think about any business or any corporate company, there's always someone that wants what you have or wants to get where you are.
Yep.
But actually, in the culture of my company, it's like you actually get paid more for helping people. And so it's a really abundant, empowering company because people just want to help you. That benefits them as well. So listening to her speak, and she was just talking about how it's changed her life after just a few short weeks, but how it's impacting her future. And her daughter was sat there watching her, and I could see her daughter have shifts because she could see her mum standing up, feeling empowered, seeing her own her truth, and so excited for the future that her daughter is now inspired to do the same. And that is what really sets me on fire and really fulfills me, is people knowing what they're capable of and stepping into that, and that comfort zone just being completely smashed. And that, I think, is the difference, Jeff, with transformation, is people looking at that fear of thinking that's something I never thought I would do, but I'm going to step into that and, oh my God, look at who I'm becoming. I'd say that's the most, exciting thing that I see.
Yeah, it really, really is, because people, if they don't stretch themselves and get uncomfortable a little bit, they're never going to know what they're capable of.
Yes.
You know, they're never,
and that's it.
Yeah.
They have to feel capable. It doesn't matter what you say, it's how they feel when they do it. And again, yesterday, I had a consultant who was petrified of doing a Facebook Live, and she's been putting it off for weeks and weeks and weeks, and she's done it. And the shift in her from doing it, because she feels like, do you know what, I've done that, is next level.
Yep.
You know, so people actually doing what they said they were going to do, I think, is really powerful.
Yeah, it's like the first time that, you know, say you wanted to go skydiving, but you're afraid of heights, right? And you go skydiving the first time, and it's like, yeah, I can do that. Now it's just like that you can do it. You know, perfect example is the 4-minute mile. You know, scientists and everybody was saying like, oh, that's impossible to do. No, your heart's going to explode, this and that, and so on and so forth, because nobody's going to do it. Like, no, like the body, the human body can't handle it. And then somebody did it.
Yeah.
And then within a year, I think it was like 20 more people did it, because now in their heads, it was unlocked that, oh, it can be done. Because everybody was saying it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. Then somebody did it. It's like, oh, sorry, we were wrong, you know. But it's like,
totally.
Yeah, but it's like, wow, thank you, society. You put a cap on so many people and that limitation, and then somebody broke through it, and then now they're the proof that it can be done. So everybody started doing it. Now you go to the Olympics. Now, if you're running a 4-minute mile, you're slow. You know what I mean? Because everybody's running sub 4.
Yeah.
You know, and
that.
it's just, yeah, it's so crazy. And then really real quick, I know we're coming up on some time here, and so I just want to thank you for coming on, and I want to make sure that people can find you, what you're working on. So tell us a little bit about your company and what you're working with, and you know, how people can find you.
Sure thing. So my purpose in life is to empower women and men to just be, do, and have whatever they desire. It doesn't matter where you've come from, what you've been through. You can have it all and live a life without limitation. And my vehicle to do that is network marketing. You know, network marketing to me is the best way to create a passive residual income stream. But unfortunately, most people are very uneducated about it or have kind of different connotations about the profession. And I'm on a massive mission to change that and to really inspire people to just do something different and become an entrepreneur. Because when you make people entrepreneurs and they have time and money, they're happier. And when people are happier, that's when you really do make an impact in the world. So my mission really is to empower millions of people to take ownership of their lives. And my vehicle to do that is network marketing, yeah.
Perfect. And what company are you with?
It's called Arbon.
Okay. And then what's your, so I know people, if they want to look you up, I know you're on Instagram. It's just the Kim_Mellor, Mellor. And what is your website?
So my website is kimmellor.com.
Perfect. So if you want to find out more about network marketing, or, you know, how to live a more fulfilling life and get a little more inspired on the daily basis, make sure you're following Kim. I know I am. that's why we're on the call.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for helping me to spread my message, because, you know, this really does inspire me even more to impact even more lives. And to think 6 years ago that I'd be on a podcast with an incredible inspiration like yourself as well is just like, oh my gosh. Sometimes you've just got to, you know, smell the roses along the way and just know how far you've come. So,
yeah,
guys, if I can do this, anyone can do this. And I just believe in every single one of you that you can achieve whatever you desire.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for your time, Kim. You have wonderful, wonderful day, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Blast Talks. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends too, because we got a lot more coming for you, and I know you're going to love it.